Hello everyone, this is Michael. This isn't going to be a very good video today, to be honest. It's not going to be about positivity and smiles and gaming. I know a lot of people come to this channel because they want to check out my Switch reviews and other bits and pieces. But I need to basically address something and talk about something that's just happened in America. It's been a couple of days since this has happened, and it's been the reversal of Roe versus Wade. Yet it's controversial. Yes, you're going to have an issue with me talking about this. Yes, I'm going to get people bombarding my comment sections stating that, they believe in Christianity and saving babies and blah, 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 right? But at the end of the day, it's not going to change what I'm going to say to you today. And I know I'm going to get, oh yeah, and also they're going to say, oh, you're not American, so why are you getting involved? Now, I have two daughters. I also have friends in America who are female. A lot of my friends are female, to be honest, because it's just how it works. I basically migrate to women. I also have friends who are highly religious, people who basically believe in Christianity, and that's fine. I have friends who are Muslim who believe in Islam. That's totally fine too. I myself am an atheist. I believe in nothing. I believe when you're dead, you're dead. That's it. But here's the thing. There's been issues when it comes to separation of church and state, especially in the United States. And this has been going on for quite some time because religious Americans feel that they have every right to tell everyone else what to do. And to be honest, like people who are militant vegans, you don't. Everyone can believe whatever they want to believe. If you believe that you're a Scientologist and your Lord and Savior came from a spaceship, that's fine by me. If you believe there are conspiracy theories about certain things that have happened, that the Illuminati or whatever, that's fine by me. What's not fine by me is when you take your religious views or your viewpoints on whatever matter, especially with lack of experience and lack of scientific knowledge, because that's what this goes down to, you are then forcing your beliefs onto other people. This causes a conflict. I have certain beliefs when it comes to me and how I manage my life, but I would never govern anyone else by those beliefs. Just the way it is. And as there's been this ongoing hatred, what I've been seeing recently, between men against women. And it happens a lot. If you've looked at so many criminal cases, there's been situations where men have gone out of their way to try and harm a woman because they believe that women are the source of their problems. Now, as someone who's accountable, I hold myself accountable for everything. If I do something wrong, if I say something wrong, if I act the wrong way, sometimes I am a flawed individual and I say stupid shit, I hold myself accountable. And that's what I think is the problem here. You've had Supreme Court justices who have stated that they would never ever throw out Roe versus Wade because they believe it constitutionally it's a right of freedom. Abortion is the right of freedom. I live in China, by the way, and China, as part of that, gives everyone the right to an abortion. Even China doesn't have healthcare, but they make healthcare affordable here. For instance, I went to go and have something done recently. I had an operation on my back that took out basically a bone, like some bone spurs. The cost of that, if I didn't have insurance, would have been £500. It wouldn't have cost me a house, or I wouldn't have lost everything if I basically, couldn't afford it. There are also Chinese hospitals that charge less. I've had an issue with my eyes that I never knew I had. I got the medicine for that. That was like £4. Everything, like the checks, the scans and everything, because I'm currently uninsured, that cost literally 20 quid. It was nothing. And with abortion prices here, the cost of abortions are rather reasonable. And abortions were used a lot in China. There are very high abortion rates. And the reason that happened is because there were policies in place that made it unsustainable for people to have more than a certain amount of children, right? Recently, that's gone. There's an increased amount for families. Even before that, they just added a fine rather than, losing face and all that stuff, because in some ways the culture of China has changed. And it would do. With every progressive culture, things change. As you evolve as a country, things will change. Because we are intellectuals. We are people who gain knowledge. We have a thirst for knowledge. This is what we do. We learn from historical pieces in order to become better humans. But from what I'm seeing recently, you have four Supreme Court justices, I believe, 4 out of 9, who decided, I think it was a vast majority in that sense. No, it wasn't even 4 out of 9, it was 5, sorry, misspoke. 5 Supreme Court justices out of 9 who decided to get rid of Roe versus Wade and allow states who are governed by Republican senators and stuff to put in new laws that would allow them to ban abortion. And let me explain something to the unintelligent, because you guys who sit there and don't understand what we're talking about and listening to a politician over an actual doctor, which has happened a lot lately, shows how unintelligent you are. As per medical evidence, there are literally situations that are very severe. There are reasons that their only option is to abort. And if the parent carries the child to term, an example is an ectopic pregnancy on this one. If that child is carried to term, the parent will die. There's a very high chance that will happen. And I know you're going to sit there and go, well, actually, that's not true. Actually, it is true. I had to face a situation recently. Actually, it was a while ago. It was about a couple of years ago with my cat, who had an ectopic pregnancy. And the vet said, do you want us to keep the baby? And I'm like, no, because the cat will die. And he went, yeah, I know, but I had to ask you because I couldn't make the decision. I'm like, yeah, but the cat and the fetus would die. So there was no point keeping something that would have died anyway. It's an ectopic pregnancy. Look it up if you don't know what that is. But the fact that you're literally violating your own policies. You talk about how America is so free, but you're denying freedoms to women. And you're also discussing how you can deny freedoms to the LGBTQ plus community who have done nothing wrong to anyone. And you want to deny freedoms also to people of color eventually too, because that's how this works. It's not just one domino that you knock down. It's an effect, right? So eventually every single domino will go down, because that's the way these people think. They don't want to better Americans, because if they wanted to better Americans, they would make healthcare affordable and free. If they wanted to help Americans, they would allow people to make choices, especially when it comes to health. And we can't even talk about incest and rape, because that happens a lot. And that's what makes this even worse. You are taking away people's freedoms, and you are literally doing the one thing that you basically accused the Arab countries of doing, like Saudi Arabia, for instance, who a lot of American businesses do business with. You state that religion should not govern a country, and then you're using religion to govern a country. And I also guarantee when it comes to ethical standpoints and morality, no God, if God is real perchance, no God is going to sit there and go, yeah, you're doing the right thing by me. Let's freaking dehumanize women and treat them like cattle. I'm so ashamed. Not just as a father of girls, not just as as someone who has friends who are women, and also not someone who's basically dated countless women. My ex-wife is the most horrible person you would ever meet. I wouldn't wish this on her. Everyone should be given a choice. Anyone. It shouldn't be defined by gender, it shouldn't be defined by sexual orientation, and it shouldn't be defined by the color of someone's skin. You preach freedom, then you should allow these freedoms to happen. You want to deny freedom of the press? Because you've been doing that too. What's happening is you have a very right-wing, and I mean far right-wing Republican Party who are now deciding that they want to destroy America because economically, people are going to refuse to trade with you. This could lead to countries not wanting anything to do with you. What even worse could happen is there could be countries that could agree with you, like the United Kingdom, because they've got a bell end and a complete idiot for a prime minister. But it will happen. And the reason why I'm commenting on this is because of that, but also because of my friendships and relationships, and also because I'm a decent human being. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave links to abortion-friendly charities that will help, businesses that will help. Because without those, what this decision is going to do, it's going to create a divide, a divide that's already there between poor and rich. Because let's be real here, right? If you're rich, it doesn't affect you at all. Because as most of these nasty ass men do, they probably pay the women to abort their children, they pay for the abortions, and then they give them an NDA and to silence them, because none of these men are truly Christian. And I'll tell you that for a fact, because I've read the Bible. And there is nothing in the Bible that says that you should do anything like this towards any human being. The Bible is supposed to be there as a source of passion to help you with a guideline to create a better life for yourself and your family. It's not there for you to use it as a way to indoctrinate people and harm others because you think that the Bible, or you interpreted the Bible in such a way that you allow your own hatred towards basically a separate gender than you. And then I will say this, these are mostly men, because the women who basically voice their opinions, like Linda McMahon, aren't actually really saying this. They're just tweeting it because she wants to be like, part of the crew in the Republican Party. And that's what most of these people who support the Republican Party are doing. They want their tax breaks. They want to maintain their wealth. So they put the party in place who will do that. But then they will allow them to do monstrous shit like this because this is monstrous. If you're a decent human being, you would never even think about doing this to anyone else. Because you have people like the Weinsteins of the planet who decide that they can take someone's vagina and abuse it and use it as their own, because women are property. Women aren't property. Things need to be done. People need to get off their asses, such as the Democratic Party, who basically have done nothing right now. Like, you've got the women in the party screaming that something needs to be done, and then you've got Joe Biden, who just wants to sit there and play both sides because he's afraid of making a decision. The filibuster needs to go. This isn't something that should be debated. Taking away rights is un-American. Going against the Declaration of Independence is un-American. And basically the hole you're digging yourselves is going to cause the worst kind of, it's not giving you good PR right now, let's be honest. But you're making the future generation suffer to the point where people are just going to be are just going to die. They're going to drop like flies because you have no fucking understanding what you're doing. The heartbeat bills, the bullshit that these guys are trying to put through, none of them have any education in what the human body actually does if they think that this is the right way of doing things. You need to listen to the actual doctors, the people who work in this industry, and not listen to a bunch of people in suits who literally have no idea what they're talking about half the time. Because if they were educated, they would never have made this decision. But anyway, that's just me. Look at the links down below. Nothing more I can say. I'm just horrified on what I'm seeing. It's just like, and people criticize me for living in China when China right now seems more free than the US of A. Boggles the mind.